Supersonic jet fighters were heard roaring low over rooftops across Lincolnshire last night during what appeared to be military exercises. People in Lincoln, North Highcam and surrounding villages, Middle Rayson, Ruskington, and Newark were among those who took to Facebook to comment about the commotion that happened at about 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday, September 26. Up to 6 jets believed to be typhoons were heard. Some people suggested they were German Air Force planes heading back into RAF Coningsby, and that night flying exercises will continue until September 28. Katie Louise Walker posted that she had a jet over Waddington. She said pretty sure it was close to breaking the sound barrier. Katie Gladwin said it was very low in North Highcam, and so very loud. I got worried for a moment. I sat up in bed and was ready to run into my children's rooms if I needed to. I've never known it to be that low before. Heather Jane Marshall said, "Why so late? I don't understand why it's nearly 11 p.m. and they were just flying round and round." RAF Typhoon Chris Williams offered this useful insight into what was happening. RAF Coningsby are on nights this week. Scampton and Waddington are inactive at the moment this evening, so controllers can vector aircraft through if needed. He added that wind direction could be why aircraft were flying this side of Coningsby, rather than coming down the east coast as would usually happen during exercises. Red Arrows moving to Yorkshire. Here's what the RAF had to say. RAF Coningsby has produced this explanation. What is night flying in aviation? Night has a specific definition. It is defined as beginning at 30 minutes after sunset. Pilots have to qualify to fly a particular aircraft at night. Once qualified, they have to fly often enough to maintain their currency to fly the aircraft at night. Night flying is a perishable skill. If not occasionally practiced, the skill level decreases and eventually withers to the point that extra sorties have to be made in order to re-establish proficiency. Why do we operate at night? Pilots need to be able to operate their aircraft in all weathers and 24 hours per day. In some circumstances during operations, it is safer for aircrew to operate at night. We therefore have a responsibility to be prepared around the clock. Very occasionally we will have to launch aircraft at night with no notice to meet our quick reaction alert obligation. This can happen at any time during the day or night. Even if it gets dark at, for example, 9 p.m., why are you still flying at 11 p.m.? We have a responsibility to ensure that we obtain maximum value from our sorties. If our pilots were to merely take off and then land again to fulfill the night flying requirement, that would not be an efficient use of the aircraft. Therefore, we will conduct sorties that may last up to a couple of hours in duration, depending on the profile of the sortie and what we are planning to achieve. In normal circumstances, night flying is finished before midnight. However, if there are operational requirements, we may need to fly after this time. Why can't you only carry out night flying training during the winter when night falls so much earlier? We do night flying in the winter months. Naturally, it doesn't have the same impact on our neighbors as during the summer. The majority of pilots who undertake night flying are students on 29 Squadron, the Typhoon Conversion Unit. These pilots are following a syllabus that has been designed to be as efficient as possible. Every few weeks there is a requirement to undertake night operations, therefore it is inevitable that some night flying will occur during the summer months. What do you do to mitigate the disturbance caused by night flying? In the first instance, we only fly when it is essential. The simulators that we have are increasingly capable of providing an environment where pilots can learn the nuances of flying the aircraft without needing to use a live aircraft. We try wherever possible to synchronize flying programs so that all the night flying happens on the same evenings, rather than causing disruption every night. We may modify our flying program. For example, aircraft may approach and land directly, rather than conducting circuits around the airfield pattern. However, night circuits are a requirement, and therefore will sometimes happen. When will you stop night flying? RAF Coningsby is likely to be an operating base for the Typhoon for many years to come. It is unlikely that there will be any decrease in the requirement to train pilots to fly at night in the near to medium future. It is possible that further advances in synthetic technology simulators will reduce the amount of live aircraft movements at night. Night flying dates. Night flying will usually last from Monday to Thursday. The night flying period will often be for 1 week, but can be extended if required for operational or weather reasons. Current expected dates for night flying are 2528 September,